Hey, what's up? Okay, so as y'all know, man, I'm so excited. So I'm here, me and my bro, we're having such a great day. This is our first podcast, bro. Can you believe it?
Dog, this is really crazy, bro. This is really our first podcast. And what's so dope, man, is that we've been talking about having a podcast for months now, bro. Almost over a year, bro. Like, we've really been rocking mad heavy, bro. Going through mad different character development, building up our mental, and our spiritual. And I think that we're doing really good. And now we're getting into a space where we're finally manifesting the podcast.
And I think that's honestly what it's really all about. Something you said was speaking it. And I think that before a lot of times we see stuff, we do have to speak it. And I know I don't know, a lot of you guys might not know this, but my father passed away and that kind of put a damper in just everything I was doing. But like my bro said, speaking things into existence, you have to speak it sometimes, even if you don't feel it. But, we're from the East Coast, so we just came back from the West Coast. California was amazing, bro, wasn't it?
Yeah, bro, definitely. California was lit, man. We had a great experience. We had an awesome time, bro. And I think that
it's so much different than Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
We're from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, by the way.
100%.
It's a lot different as far as just like the people and just the culture alone.
Yeah.
But almost just like the hospitality was a little bit different.
Facts.
The people. I met a lady and she said, what did she tell us, bro? She said everybody was self-absorbed.
Yeah, and a lot of people were real entitled.
She did say
she
entitled.
said everybody was real entitled.
But you know what? I wouldn't say everybody was like that because we met a lady named, what's her name, Jamie?
Jamie.
We saw Jamie and her horses. And
man, she was super dope. It was crazy because we was driving through California and we got lost, right?
Right.
So we driving, we got lost. We pulled over on the side of the road because the GPS is taking us every which way. Bro's hot. You know what I'm saying? Bro's here irritated like dog. Like, bro, we need to just get out the car and walk or something, bro. I need to calm down. I need to settle down.
I was out of it about that.
Bro, it's okay. Just relax, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just chill out, bro. He's like, and then he asked me a question. What was the question that you asked me? You was like, what did you say?
Bro, I said, let's get out. I said, God must just be doing this on purpose. Let's get out. And, I'm all about wellness.
Question that you
what
asked?
Did I ask you?
You said something like, bro, do you think this is an attack? And I said, no, this is not an attack.
It's a blessing.
This is a blessing. And the reason why I said it was a blessing is because we was trying to find our way back to our Airbnb because we went to a beach like 2 hours away from our Airbnb, right? So then as we're driving back to our Airbnb, we missed a few different exits. And then as we missed a few different exits, we pulled over on the side of the road and bro was like, man, is this an attack? And I'm like, no, it's a blessing. The reason why I said it was a blessing is because we had the opportunity to take time to the side and really just embrace the moment to the fact that we was in California and we never are just in California traveling all the way on the other side of the country, enjoying the beautiful hot weather, you know what I'm saying, with the mountains and the trees. And it was just it was a blessing because we were able to create a moment together that we will always remember and be able to look back on bro, remember that moment that we got, you know what I'm saying, that we got lost and we didn't know where we was and we was in California.
I think that honestly, in that time, I'm a GPS person. And, I've been to California a lot of times. And I know Seth travels around the world too. And basically, I looked at this moment. Like I said earlier, my dad passed away, so I wanted to really use this California trip to kind of just, take time to rejuvenate and to get my mental together. So I really wanted to use this time as almost like a vacation time when usually my vacations are usually business. It's like a business vacation. I forgot. Right. So they usually say a word for that. I forgot. But it's like business and vacation. I forgot the word. But basically, my GPS wasn't working. I'm the GPS king. I use it to go everywhere. I'll even use it in Pittsburgh if I have to. No cap. All right, so anyway, my GPS was freezing. It wasn't doing something, but I didn't really feel like it was an attack. I felt like God was allowing it because I'm like, God, my GPS never messes up. And my GPS is always on point. And I'm just like, something's got to be up. God must have a plan. Because whenever something weird happens and I see how God wants to almost bombard my day, he does things like that. And he gives me a known, okay, now I'm taking over. I want you to do what I want you to do. And long story short, we ended up meeting a lady named Jamie and we prayed with her. We got to meet her horses. It ended up being such a blessed time. And I parked and I said, let's get out the car and, let's just take this scenery in and let's just do what I think God wants us to do. But I say that to really talk about and dive deeper into mental health and being able to face opposition and how to be able to stay in your power position. One thing, as you know, or you guys might not know this, but I'm a life coach. So I know a lot of my listeners will come on here, and some people I worked with, or some people that my brother might know, because my brother's a rapper, so he has crazy fan base, and he might send people in. So in case you guys don't know, I'm a life coach, but one thing that I realize is that something that I'm discovering, my brother's discovering, is we're working on our anger. So what would you say is one of the biggest lessons that you feel like we're working on as far as like anger, bro? When it comes to like mental health and dealing with your anger.
Okay, so one of the things that I could say that I'm learning in this moment of like understanding myself is that when I come up upon like frustration. When I come upon frustration, basically I have to take a moment and realize that like even though I'm in the midst of like being disappointed or angry, upset or frustrated, that I can't allow myself to be dominated by my emotions or act upon my emotions. And even though I might feel the feelings of anger, I might feel rage, or I might feel disappointment, or I might feel like I'm upset, I'm really noticing that I cannot allow myself to get out of character because I feel a certain type of way, and I have to stay in a place of peace and in a place of power, you know what I'm saying, and deal with the situation accordingly instead of like acting out of a place from emotion. I have to be more led by my spirit instead of my emotions.
So and that's exactly right. And that's one thing I think we all have to learn and grasp. And that was something that I know that I've been personally working on, and my brother's been working on it. But I really want to speak about how anytime you're facing opposition or anytime you're facing problems, it is a growth opportunity. I've switched my mindset, man. Listen, I switched my mindset from looking at problems as problems, and I started looking at them as growth opportunities.
Exactly.
And what I seen was this. Every single thing that I face that causes me to be disturbed, it's because it's something in me that needs to grow. And when I began to face it and look at it like that, it's challenging. But when I began to do that, and I've been able to stop and say, what is it that I need to learn? What is this moment trying to teach me? What is God trying to show me? And I was able to grasp how it's maturing me and it's helping me. My problems are now actually things that I embrace instead of things I despise. And that's the number one thing that I'll say, that anger has really become almost a teacher of mine, almost a lesson. And I've learned to face adversity and look at them as gifts. I look at adversity as like a gift from God to grow me, to stretch me, and really to reveal himself. But I just wanted to really use this time. And, anybody who listens to us, we want to make sure that we're always speaking life into you.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that we tell you you're not in this battle alone. Like we were talking about the quarantine earlier, and how everybody's had so much time to think about. I mean, my phone calls are going off the hook with people who are, becoming suicidal, or people who are losing their mind, because with all this time, bro, we have to really like face our demons and really have to face, our insecurities, our fears. Right. And I think it's so important that we don't run from them, but we look at them as blessings, because they're teaching us and showing us what it is we need to work on to get to where God, I believe, has for us to go.
Specifically, like there's an example. Something that is frustrating me, kind of like was the quarantine, right? It was frustrating that like I wasn't going to be able to work as much as I would have wanted to be able to work. It was frustrating that, you know what I'm saying, like I was just kind of at home and I wasn't able to record music as much as I wanted to record music. You see what I'm saying? Like different stuff was just shut down. Like it was like the whole world just went on lockdown for like X amount of months, like 3 months or something like that. And it frustrated me. But what bro was just saying is that like the frustration, it kind of just shows that you're due for upgrade. The frustration shows that you're really due for refreshment.
Exactly, bro. That's what I was
what's
saying.
really dope is that in the quarantine, it gave me time to not be working consistently, working and just having like such a schedule where I'm doing,
right,
where I was able to take a step back and really face myself and begin to investigate my heart and what was really inside of my heart, and really start assessing my life and seeing like all of the things that I feel like God put me on the earth to do, and start working toward those things instead of the things that were just in front of me that were more convenient, such as like a job or just doing other things that like they might not have been bad things to do, but you know, because I'm not saying if you're working a job like it's bad that you're working a job, but I'm just saying that when you don't have it, like people was going to school all the time, people was working in their career fields, like everybody's so busy, but what the quarantine gave us an opportunity to do was step back and really reassess your life and realize and understand that like you won't go to where you really need to go in life until you have like a self-discovery moment, until you're really in tune with who you are, depending on where you really want to go. I know for me, my success, my version of success looks like me being the best version of myself all around in every single area of my life. And I need to be able to do that. And I need to be able to do that by taking time to invest in myself. And that's what I was able to do during the quarantine. So although it was frustrating, it ended up really being a blessing because I got the time that I needed for myself to really like pour into myself and like have a self-discovery moment.
And I think so many people are just realizing that, whether it's just being able to be at home with their kids or being able to create a business opportunity. You know, I have great friends who are software developers, and I mean, one of their greatest, basically discoveries and inventions that they've been working on for a long time, they were able to launch, and they were able to put a lot of their energy and efforts into that. And I mean, you'll be surprised how many people are either getting divorced or their marriage is thriving because they're able to see, who they're really in love with, who they're really dating. People are able to see what's really going on with their kids. And I think that the quarantine actually is something that, once again, I look at these adversities and these things as blessings, as growth opportunities. And I think that because I have that mindset and because I feel like I've been enlightened and I allow the frequency that I vibrate on to be a high frequency, it's actually worked out in my favor, where my business is actually doing a lot better than it was doing even before that. My speaking engagements may have, tied down because of meeting publicly with like large audiences. However, I will say that my impact hasn't changed, and I know neither has my brothers, and we're even developing this podcast out of being able to spend time in quarantine and being able to network and think and basically get creative. So right. I think that it's all about how you look. It's mind over matter, and it's definitely about making lemon out of lemonade. So something else I wanted to talk about, man, something more on a lighter note, was about relationships. Yeah. Like, I think that another thing that not just the quarantine, but 2020 is really showcasing relationships. A lot of relationships are ending. A lot of relationships are beginning. Things are really being tested and challenged. I don't know. What do you think 2020 is like doing? Because if 2020 was a person, you know how they have a picture of something and they be like, if eating fast food was a person, if this was a person. So they had somebody like smacking somebody across the face, and it was like, if 2020 was a person. Right. I mean, so do you feel smacked by 2020? I feel like in some ways I feel smacked, but in other ways I feel like, I don't know, massaged? I don't know.
No, so I think for me, I don't feel like if I did get smacked by 2020,
like being honest, like be real.
I got smacked in the back of my head and it pushed me forward. You see
yeah, like it was
discipline. Wasn't like I didn't get smacked back into
smacked down.
You know what I'm saying?
You got smacked up.
If I got smacked, somebody
smacked you up
in the back of my head. You know what I'm saying? And it pushed me forward because, like, honestly, it wasn't something that put like a huge damper in my parade. Honestly,
in your relationship,
for me, like in my relationships, it's setting me up for success. You know what I'm saying? And it's because it's providing the time, the space, and the opportunity that I need to grow in the most vital, the most important relationships in my life, which is like my family, my friends, and, God, of course, was the most important. I think that those relationships have been able to thrive because I'm able to spend more quality time with them, and right. I'm able to actually invest in them more than I was when I was always consistently busy doing other things. So honestly,
and that's what I was talking about when I was saying, a lot of people were able to spend time with their family, with their right. friends, with their kids, and I think that that's one thing. But what about like 2020 revealing the bad relationships?
Man, I think that like 2020. I think that really it reveals like, like I think the time in general will reveal a person's true character if you spending enough time around them, and you will get to see like who they truly are at the core of their being. You know what I'm saying? So I think that what it has enabled us to do is see who around us is really going to stand the test of time and really be thorough, solid people who's going to rock with us until the end, or there's people who are flaky and who are more like on the fair weather side
I say that because of just like the racial things that are happening.
Right.
Like people are getting shot, black people,
Exactly,
a lot of white
yeah.
people. So when I say that, and what I'm speaking about is I'm saying 2020 is taking a damper on just relationships,
Right, yeah.
because a lot of people, I have a white grandma, so
Yeah.
therefore I have family who's Caucasian, I have family who's white, black. We're a melting pot. So I didn't really grow up with strong racist experiences. Right. However, I still know about them. But what I'll say is that me just being an observer of the world, I'm seeing how a lot of relationships are ending if a black and a white person was a friend.
Yeah,
and the white friend is becoming... I know personally, you have a white friend, and you said that your friend was saying some racist things. And
Yeah,
you just
it wasn't even that they
was
were saying nothing racist. It was just that they were posting something. It was like an All Lives Matter post. You know what I'm saying? And it's not even... See, my thing is that, like, he's probably not racist, but he's blinded to the fact that a statement like that is taken away from the fact that right now, specifically, black lives are being targeted. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And I just don't think that he had that full understanding or perspective, maybe because me and him haven't sat down and had a more extended conversation, you know what I'm saying? But I think that, like, people have been going in a separate direction, but I think really honestly that's what this time is intended to do, is to pull people apart and to divide people, you know what I'm saying?
And this is what I was saying. I know that the enemy works in division, and I know the enemy wants to divide people. The enemy wants to divide the people, especially while God's trying to bring people together. So more than me focusing on the division, I look at it as this is a growth opportunity. Right. So the people who maybe are a little bit racist, or maybe not racist intentionally, right, but maybe just has a wrong way of thinking, just privilege, it's giving them an opportunity to grow and be able to see the cup or see the perspective.
Exposed inside of them, because they didn't really even see that they were as privileged, or they didn't even see that they had such a like a blinder in their mind, you know what I'm saying? So I think that has really been exposed through this time of like everything that's going on in America and everything that's going on in the world right now. I think that like it's being exposed, and whether or not you're going to, you know what I'm saying, like advocate for justice, or you're either going to advocate for justice, or you're going to stay hidden behind closed doors and keep your opinion to yourself. Because a lot of people asked us like, well, what can we do? What can we do? Well, what you can do is use whatever platform that you have to speak out on injustice, not even just black on white crime, but just injustice in general.
What do you think about people who are afraid to maybe speak out because they're like, we don't want to mess up our business or something? What do you think about that? Do you feel like that's part of the problem, or do you feel like
that's part of the issue?
Or you understand, or do you have understanding? Like, what is it that you feel about that?
Part of the issue is that like people who are driven by fear. People are driven by fear, and since they have such a fear about like, you know what I'm saying, how other people are going to think about them, then it's like they don't see it enough to the point where they can say, I'm gonna go into my job, I'm going to go to my career field, my establishment, my business. I'm going to go into politics, like whether I'm a judge or I'm a lawyer or whatever, and I'm going to advocate on behalf of injustice because I'm afraid how people of my complexion are going to look at me, or I'm afraid of like just how like society in general. Yeah, I might lose business. I might lose customers. They have been donating $100K a year. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so are you saying that you feel as though that if these really aren't your intentions, and you really don't feel that way, and you do believe in like equality and stuff like that, that you should be willing to lose out on these business relationships and everything regardless, because you're going to stand on what you really stand on? And if somebody disagrees, then and they want to take their business elsewhere, then oh well, because you believe in what you believe in.
Yeah, I think that what it come down to at the end of the day is like you're really just going to stand for what's right. You know what I'm saying? Or it's like you're going to do what's going to make your business thrive. Now, if you're going to do what's going to make your business thrive, then that's not always on the right side. You know what I'm saying? But it really just comes down to your heart and where you're standing at. You know what I'm saying? And if you even care for what's really right in life or not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I do think that some people care and some people just want to be cautious when it comes to like their business, and they don't want to like get into the logistics or get into the mix of it because they're like, I might feel like what's happening in the world's not right, and that might even in my personal life be an advocate for it, but I might not want to use my business as a public platform to display that and to just unnecessarily mess up my business whenever I can use my business to maybe bring money in to help out a Black community, which would be way more helpful than me just stating my opinion online. And that's me just looking at it from another perspective where it's just like I can take my money and I can actually personally benefit the kingdom. Benefit, you know what I mean? Well, yeah, the kingdom or benefit, just the Black community or whatever suppressed group of people. Right. And by me just stating my opinion online, it's not really doing nothing but stirring up strife. Whereas if I don't, and I just remain kind of not necessarily silent, but I just be strategic in how I advocate, then I can still be able to benefit them in the best way possible. So I think it's about, it's about the way that you are called to support whatever group and your heart behind
but look,
it.
But that goes for Black and white. Like whether you're white or you're Black. Look, you don't all like everybody's not called to be out there protesting
and to fight and
out here striking. Police. Like that's not everybody's call.
You do what you're called to do.
But some people might be called to donate $10K. You see what I'm saying? To a movement or to a family who lost their member to injustice. You see what I'm saying? Some people might be called to use their speaking gift. Some people might be called to use their dancing to draw attention.
Their art, whatever.
Some people might be called to use their music to draw attention.
Their art, I get what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? So everybody has like a different vehicle to be able to express
their heart and the way that they want to contribute to bringing equality and bringing evolution to the world as far as bringing, peace. So another thing I wanted to talk about really was about how we really have to use this time to really realize that we are not just a physical being. And I was having a deep conversation. I'll save this for another podcast, but I wanted to speak about a little bit. I wanted to touch on how we are like mind, body, soul, but more importantly, we are spirit.
Right.
And I want to just say that, you have to be mindful of what you're putting in your spirit. All the CNN, all the news, all the racist stuff, all the hateful stuff, all the, quarantine and COVID stuff. I think it's so important that you take time to put things that are positive, that are lovely. Read a book, pray, go to church, or, even if you have to do church online. I think it's so important to feed your spirit good things that can uplift you. Because one thing I don't do is I don't watch a ton of news. I don't listen to a bunch of negativity. All of my closest friends and family, I if they get negative, I shift the conversation and I make it positive. Don't judge everybody. Judge people up. Don't judge them down. And I think one thing that I'm learning, and when I was really talking about relationships, it's really, and I love the fact you spoke on fear, because I think a lot of relationships are being exposed for what they really are. And it's really just people living out their fears. So certain people in this pandemic time, they don't know how to operate in this. So a lot of their unconscious fears are rising to the top. But I just wanted to leave my listeners off on a positive note and tell you guys to make sure you're putting positive things in your spirit. Make sure you're stirring up good conversation and speaking life over yourself, and get around people who want to speak life into you. Would you agree?
Yes, absolutely. And one thing that I would just add to that, man, is just like some of the things that you could do to keep yourself in a positive mind frame is just choose gratitude. You know what I'm saying? Like every single day when you wake up, just make sure that you have like a spirit of gratitude.
A gratitude
you know
list.
what I'm saying? And really,
write out a gratitude
physically
list.
Writing down what you are grateful for about that might not even have nothing to do with money, but really just choose the things that you're grateful for about in life. Because when you do that in the beginning of your day, you go throughout your day feeling grateful for life in general
instead
and just
of
being on earth. Yeah, so I think
the negative thinking.
I think that because a lot of things, when people first wake up, the first thing they do is get their coffee and they drink and they watch the news or they, you know what I'm saying,
or they just think about the responsibilities.
You know what I'm saying? Or they start
negative.
thinking about all of the different things that they got to do in life and things of that nature. So I think what's really dope, bro, is when you wake up in the morning And the first thing you do is put yourself in a space and in an attitude where you're really grateful for life.
I love it. So using gratitude. So I think, man, overall, I think that it's really about speaking life. And, I just want to tell you guys to make sure you're tuning in. This is actually, I'm so excited, bro. This is our first episode. Let's go. So, we're going to be uncovering so many different things about our personal life. We're going to be taking you along the journey. I know some of the topics that we have just for this season is just relationships and, business. I'm going to have some special guests come on and give some gems away on how to start a business and how to do different things. But I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. I tell you guys to come back. We love you and we look forward to being a blessing to you.
Hold on, bro. I think there's something you forgot. If you don't know my brother Marcel Johnson, this dude is like the #1 transformational speaker in the world. If you don't know who this guy is, you gotta look him up. Go on his website, marceljohnson.com. This man does Freedom Friday every single Friday. He does a speaking engagement on live where he just basically goes live and he speaks to the people and he brings freedom through transformation. This man's words is transformational. He's helped to personally transform my life. You know what I'm saying? And if you're listening to this podcast and if there's any gem, if there's anything that you heard from this podcast, I want you to make sure that you go find my brother on Facebook, on Google, and type this man's name up. His name is Marcel Johnson. That's with 2 L's. You know what I'm saying? And just and look for this guy because honestly, like, he's going to change the world like in a drastic way. So I'm super grateful for everybody who tuned into the podcast today, man. We truly, truly appreciate y'all. Y'all are our family. We love y'all from the bottom of our hearts, man. And thank you for tuning into our first podcast. Plus Kick Drip. Let's go, baby.
Let's go.